Welcome back to At Home with Robee. I'm Patrick McIsaac from Robee Electric, along with Trent Haston from the Robee family of companies, and we are joined by Dominic Thompson, who runs Robee Handyman. And Dominic, at the break, I was kind of alluding to sometimes the word handyman in our world gets a negative connotation. Why and how are we different in our handyman division where people can feel comfortable? Obviously, the brand's been around, all those things, but what do we do that's a little bit different?
Yeah, well, you mentioned the brand, but I think maybe the reason that there's a security, that there's just a kind of a comfort around the brand affiliation that we have the opportunity to capitalize on in a way. I think there's just a certain level of trust, and you know that you're getting a certain level of quality, and you know you're getting people who you can trust to be in your home. I mean, I feel very honored when I go to someone's home and they welcome me into their home and they're walking me through their daughter's bedroom and their master bathroom. And these are very private, personal places. And you need somebody who you can trust to be in that space or even outside the home. I mean, when you've got kids and the world we live in and security type things that I think about, then it means a lot to me that somebody would invite us into that space. So I think it comes back to just trust, just in general, not just with who it is, the type of people you're working with, but the quality. And do they care about what they do? Are they proud of what they do? Are they going to do it right? Or do I have to keep calling you back 5 times to do the same thing? And so I think those are kind of some of the assets that we have to build on, and we're building on that.
Well, and I think you hit the nail on the head, and I think that's sort of what gives us a little bit of a bad edge in our service businesses, right? Robee Electric and Robee Handyman.
Sure.
Is that there are a lot of folks out there that overpromise and they underdeliver. I hear it time and time again from friends and whatnot that they hired somebody that maybe doesn't have a license. Hey, he's going to be here for 2 weeks to do the job. You go over there 3 months later and they're still tinkering.
Right. No, and I hear that all the time, and callbacks, and
right.
won't avoiding my phone calls, won't respond to email, all these types of things, and so expectations are everything, right? I learned when I worked in the automotive business, you promise somebody Rhode Island, and you try to give them Texas, right? Not the other way around.
Wow,
you like that?
Man, that was a good analogy.
I've got one for you too. Someone told me this when I first started my career. It's an equation, and it's disappointment equals expectations over reality.
I love it.
And it's so simple.
I love it.
D equals E
Disappointment
over R.
equals expectations over reality. We'll talk about that next Sunday. I got to think about that one.
You want to ponder that one for a little bit?
You just went a little over my head there, Slick.
From an economics guy, I'm pretty sure you got that dialed in, sir. But Dominic, no, I mean, I think these are all really things that people need to be aware of, because I think that there might be also another mindset is that handyman work is easy. And that anybody can do handyman work, but that's not at all true.
Well, if you're only going to do one type of handyman work, that might be true. You might be good at one
Correct.
type of thing.
Painting or something along those lines.
Right, but there's almost nothing that we don't do in someone's home. I mean, we especially coming up on the holidays, we're looking to help people get their Christmas tree down out of the attic and put up decorations and lights and all that kind of stuff, which is pretty simple and straightforward. But on the other hand, we're helping to figure out complex problems with windows and doors and wood rot, and so that it really runs the gamut. I mean, from top to bottom. I mean, we literally have customers that'll pay us to come over to hang a picture and leave, and they'll pay us to hang a picture or a big mirror or something in their dining room. And then I went to a meeting last week where the husband literally told me that if he could just pay us a price every month to manage his entire house, landscaping, pool maintenance, light bulbs. So it literally runs from one end to the other, and I think that's where the professionalism has to step up a notch if you're going to perform at that level.
Well, not to steal some from your, one of your mottos is honey do is equals honey done.
We turn honey do into honey done.
And I like honey with the B and the Robee.
You don't suppose that there's any intentional marketing going on there?
So you are an outsourced honeydew aficionado.
That's it. That's what we do.
That's perfect.
Is that why you have that sweet smell?
Yeah, you can. Yes. The pheromones or whatever it is we're producing over here at Handyman.
My wife. The Yellow Jackets are attracted to my wife, not me. So what are you seeing people on the calls? I mean, what are you seeing a lot of? And where do you really, I mean, you add value servicing anybody in any way, but what are the trends?
Trends. All summer long, We've been talking to people a lot about wood rot, and this happens kind of every spring where everybody comes out of hibernation. They've been kind of packed up inside the house all winter. You're not spending time in the yard. You're not in the pool, all this kind of stuff, and you come outside, the weather's good, and you start seeing stuff on your house that's been happening all winter, but you hadn't been outside to see it. You know, the water leaks that you see is creating paint that's peeling around windows and doors, which can, if you don't deal with that, you can put yourself in a position to pay a lot more money by ignoring them.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit. Okay, so what if I don't deal with it? I mean, what can happen? I mean, I'm not trying to scare people, but I think that's one of those things that it maybe might be overlooked.
I think it is too. If you're walking around your house, you're mowing your yard this summer as you're kind of winding down, and you look up at the gutters around what we call the soffits, all that wood trim around the gutters, and you start seeing some paint failure, that's a first sign that you've got water that's leaking behind somewhere, which needs to be fixed. But if you don't address it, it starts as paint failure. If you don't address the actual problem and repair that, then it leads to rotten wood. It just begins to fall apart, and that happens around doors and windows too. You got a lot of trim around doors and windows, and windows and doors are expensive, very expensive. So if you can keep them maintained and keep paint on them and take good care of them, then they can last you forever. But you got to take care of them, right? It's like going to the dentist. You can either go twice a year to get your teeth cleaned and maybe avoid a root canal, or don't and just go get your root canal.
You're going down some painful roads here. Root canals.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious.
I've never had one. I get my teeth cleaned every 6 months.
Oh, well, let me tell you,
jinx
son.
yourself.
You can just because I've had a couple root canals don't make me a dirty person. I
didn't
promise.
call you dirty.
My mom came from the dental hygienist world, so
Very cool.
Teeth are my priority, but little baby Jesus didn't give me enough calcium or something. I don't know what's going on.
Appropriate for a Sunday.
No, I used to like a lot of sugar.
Agreed.
So.
Well, now, I mean, you all helped us. You mentioned windows. My situation was not. I'm going to tell sort of how you helped us, and I've told this before. We had somehow a rock shot out from my lawnmower and right into a big window, and you guys were great. I mean, out right away, you were on the phone with me telling me, hey, everything's cool. You know, your windows, as long as it's dual pane, we can go ahead and get this thing on order. It's not something you need to do now. But you guys had that 24-hour service if somebody really needed something, like in my case, like your door gets kicked in, or God forbid, your window gets broken into or something. You guys can help a homeowner out.
Yeah, just call us and let us know what's going on, and if it's an emergency, somebody's going to call you back, and we're going to get on top of it for sure.
What is the phone number, and is there a website for Robee Handyman?
Absolutely. The phone number to reach us is 704-334-5477, or you can go to RobeeHandyman.com, and that's ROBEE handyman.com.
And somebody was telling me the other day, one of my friends, that they have started noticing the handyman trucks.
Yeah,
and
they're gorgeous.
They're white, where most the Andrew Robee traditional trucks are red. Actually, Robee Electric's vehicles are white as well, but they have some yellow on them, or some.
That's right, the honeybee
honey
play.
color.
That's right.
But they look pretty snazzy, and I think it's great. Part of our business model is we come up professional, and we give you a professional first impression. We're not flying our bumper hanging off, dragging the street, and I think that says a lot about who you are going up in somebody's house. Handyman is harder to do than big jobs because the homeowner, I mean, if Miss Smith or Mr. Johnson needs some handyman work done, and it's 2 or 3 hours, they meet you at the house, and they're at home waiting for you to get done.
That's right.
Versus a 2-year job where people come and go and don't think about it. So it's a watch pot never boils. That's a good analogy.
I love that.
That means have patience, young man. But it's a very watch pot type business, and that means you have to excel further. It's also our first foray into a lot of people's relationships and homes, where hopefully we grow bigger relationships. So we have to perform that much more. Patrick, Robee Electric does a great job of getting us in front of people for the first time and giving a great first impression as well. So from Trent Hastings' approach, thank you to both of you guys. You guys are the impetus, the heart of our first impression team, and thank you. And I'm very proud of both of your teams, and I want to see y'all succeed. So,
thank you,
Dominic,
Trent.
thanks for being here.
Of course, thank you guys.
Phone number, website, one more time, Dominic.
704-334-5477, or visit RobeeHandyman.com.
Robee, ROBEE, handyman.com. You're listening to At Home with Robee. We'll be right back.